Before watching the video, don't forget to subscribe the channel and enable bell notification to never miss an update from us.
Hello everyone and welcome to Entry channel. This is Asma Shukla and you're watching us. Now in this video we are basically aiming at the USA elections because recently they have been quite in news. There's been a huge tussle going around about what these elections are and why these elections are so important. Why is India so involved with the results, or how is it different from India's elections? Because there are various students which find it quite difficult to understand on the area that how these elections are different from the elections which are held in India. Right. So in this video, we're going to clarify on how those elections happen, or what is so different that it took so long to, announce the results. Because in India, if you see that there is one body, Election Commission of India, and the results are also declared quite in time, not as long, or they're not as prolonged as the results of United States of America still. Second of all, in the second part, we're going to talk about the impact of relations with India and the world. That is how the world is going to be affected, or the relations of United States of America are going to affect or being impacted by the election results that are soon to be out, which according as of now have been won by Joe Biden. Right. So currently, as per the results which have come, the president is going to be Joe Biden. Donald Trump has lost those elections. Joe Biden got the majority of 273. Now, what exactly is these numbers and why so long? So, we are going to begin first on the election process and the difference of the election process of India and USA. Right. So the first part we talk about, these are the pointers we're going to talk about, but we'll be talking about them in detail, right? So the first is presidential and parliamentary form of government. Now, in United States of America, we have a presidential form of government. What do you mean by that? That means that the head of the state is the president, and that's who he stands. He represents the country as a whole or as a nation, right? Whereas in India, we are represented by parliament, and parliament, them being, we say that we have a bicameral legislature, which has been taken from the Britain, right? From as you were the colony. So from there, we have taken the bicameral legislature, which divides the country into or the parliament in two parts: Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, that being upper house and lower house. So in India, when there are elections, there are elections when public is involved, that is in lower house or Lok Sabha, and that selected members vote for Rajya Sabha or the upper house, right? So selected people select the upper house. Whereas in the case of United States of America, the voting happens for the president, for the vice president, and all the Senate members as well. Everything is in the hands of people, most of the things. So whenever there's an election going on, they have the voters have to choose so many things out of it, and they have to vote on who is the president, who is the vice president, who is going to be the vice president, because you might have seen the name have has been coming out of the vice president also, that the people have chosen her, Kamala Harris, as we say. So the name Kamala Harris, or the vice president Kamala Harris, has been chosen by the people. Now, how have they been chosen? Because when the ballot system of the election happens, they choose the vice president also. Whereas in India, the president is by the Lok Sabha. So the members who are elected, they choose it, not the public as a whole. So we choose the prime minister, as we can say, whereas over there they choose the president and all the members that are going to be there. Right. Next comes the electoral system. Now, what is the difference about the electoral system of both the places? In United States, there is a U.S. Electoral College system. This is the U.S. Electoral College map, or the system which occurs. Now, what happens over here is that if we talk about if these are the places, the states of United States, or the divisions, or the states, whatever you call them as. So these are the states of United States, or the constituencies, as we can call in the Indian language. So what happens whenever there are elections in a state in India? We have, for example, elections going on in Bihar as of now. So whenever there are elections in Bihar, whichever party scores the number of votes, that is their score. For example, BJP takes a certain number of votes, say X number of votes, and INC takes Y number of votes. These are their individual votes in the whole of Bihar. That is, the whole seats are going to be divided into so and so parts, and so numbers are going to be taken off by the party members. Whereas in the electoral college system of United States of America, if the majority of the particular state is by or won by a particular person, for example, over here, Joe Biden won the California state. He got majority over there. Like there are 55 seats and he won for say 40 seats. So the whole of California becomes his account. That is, the whole 55 goes into his account. Over here, as we have told, so even if the person wins a particular number of seats or a majority, for example, Joe Biden wins 45 seats and Trump won, say, 15 seats in the California state. But since the majority goes with Joe Biden, all the 55 seats are going to be counted for Joe Biden and not for Donald Trump. That is how the elections or electoral college map works for United States of America. Now, if we look at the number and the division, now in India we had told that there are two houses, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and a majority in Lok Sabha brings in the government, and Rajya Sabha is one of these elevated people, upper house. Whereas in Congress, the two houses being being the House of Representatives and Senate. Now, House of Representatives has about 438 seats, Senate has about 100 seats, and that makes a total of 538 seats. Now, when someone wins in United States of America, they have to win above 270 to be voted. So overall, the sum of House of Representatives and Senate has to be greater than 270 to become the president. That is the system of United States of America presidential election. So that is how it is different. We have Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha separately. Over here, they have a combined votes as well, right? If we talk about the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, that is the Indian parliamentary system. So in India, Lok Sabha maximum seats can be 552, and that being the majority one will bring in the prime minister, right? Or the head of the council is going to be there. In Rajya Sabha, we have maximum of 250, and they are elected by the state legislative assembly and the MPs and MLAs. They are going to elect them, not the public. In Rajya Sabha, the retirement age, so in 1/3 of its members retire every 2 years. Every 2 years, 1/3 of member are moved out. In Lok Sabha, 5 years we have. But in United States, the tenure is 4 years. Every 4 years elections happen and they are never postponed, whatever the case. See, in times of COVID also, they had the regular timing. That is, what whenever the elections were supposed to happen, the first Tuesday of November. So whatever the dates are decided, they have been going on and they keep going on. There have been no changes even at the times of World War. So that is how United States of America runs on that part. Next, we come to the voting system. Now, in India, we have we have a particular election management body, that is Election Commission of India, and they manage the voting, and we vote via EVM right now, right? Whereas in United States, as I told you, they have the ballot system. Most of it, or most of the elections happen via ballots, and they have to choose multiple things. And as comes for election management body, like India, we have a particular election management body, that is Election Council of India, Commission of India. They manage the elections and never have been in question as of today. The results have always been clear. Whereas in United States, there are two bodies which are there, which are taking over on the election. One is the Federal Election Commission, and the second one is US Election Assistance Commission, and their work is only towards the handling the financial matters of the parties. They have a no look whatsoever on how the elections are happening or nothing. So they're not as powerful as the Election Commission of India. They cannot regulate it as much as the Election Commission of India can. So we have a better perspective on election management body, making it less confusing, because over here we have two bodies, both of them majorly managing the financial statements. and it makes it a lengthy process because of ballot system as well, right? So that is the reason why this system has been ongoing and long since, and the results have been taking such a while right now. So here we are clear with the parts of how the elections are there, how it happens, and everything. But the next part, that is the most important part of this election, is the impact of the results. That is, right now, Joe Biden has won. So, what kind of changes are we expecting in the world, and changes expected with India? What kind of expectations are arised out of it? So, as if we look at the speeches now, in the, when the elections are ongoing in United States, they have the speeches on a major part. Speeches and debates hold the major part. Not that much of campaigning is done like we have in India. So many rallies are not there, but basically televised debates and speeches are there. So if we look at the speeches and debates that had happened in which Joe Biden had participated, if we have a look at that, first of all, we can see that Biden is first of all likely to be less obtrusive. That is, he won't be much interfering into the matters of the states or countries as such. Just like United States of America earlier president or ex-president Donald Trump, he was much more included in the various countries' personal matters. As we can see, Israel matter, Iran matter. He had taken a lot of things personally, so that personalization can be seen as a less part, because he has been the vice president at the time of Obama, and we have seen his work to a certain extent. Then, normalization of US Iran relationship, because at the time of Trump, these Iran relationships were quite affected because of the nuclear proliferation deal which was there, nuclear deal which we say. He had moved out from the deal. He wanted them to completely leave the uranium, or US will also have a stockpile of it and it won't be regulated. So this nuclear proliferation deal was supposed to be happening, because so that nuclear, or you can say uranium, is not stored by countries, and nuclear powers or missiles and all can't be created. But he took an exit route out of it, blamed Iran out of it. So there were a lot of steps that he had taken, due to which sanctions were also issued on Iran. He had issued sanctions on them for various accords. So due to those works, the US Iran relationship were quite affected. So we are expecting that these relationship will be uplifted again. Now, he had recently left the Paris Climate Accord also, on the grounds that he does not find them helpful, and he did not want to be regulated on the pollution matters, because he wanted to increase the factories for obvious reasons. He's a business person. He has a background of business and not a politics. So a lot of things he had ignored on this part, and he left the Paris Climate Accord. And now, as per Joe Biden's speech and debates, we can infer that he's planning on moving back towards the Paris Climate Accord, regulating it accordingly, because it's for the betterment of all. Apart from that, this is not the only international issue that had arisen. Apart from that, Donald Trump had left WHO. He had withheld the that amount, or the trust that he gives into World Health Organization, the funding that is there by to the World Health Organization. He had stopped them. He had stopped those funding because he found them more involved with China, and whatever the reasons were there specified by him. The WHO relations were affected, and then UNESCO relations were affected. He had planned on leaving that, leaving of United Nations Human Rights Commission. So he had uh, kind of left a lot of many organizations. He had disturbed a lot of relations of United States with these international organizations and deals which were supposed to be increasing the arena of United States. Apart from that, as for Joe Biden, there are certain questions that are rising because of his act, that is Asia Pacific region as a major one, whereas Donald Trump's was Indo Pacific. Right, so he was more focused towards the Indo Pacific relations, that is, India was a main part. Whereas for Joe Biden, he has a more policy of Asia Pacific region, which includes the China as well. So the expectations are that China and US relations might go back to normal, and that normal will affect directly or indirectly India as well, along with the world. His relations with Russia are also not that quite good because of the last elections when Russia had, or Russian people had digitally helped Donald Trump in a lot, promotional purposes on a basis, we can say. Then it comes to relations with India. Now, as we know that there was this visa issue which was arising, where the NRIs and people of Indian origin, they were kind of blocked out from United States because his policy was that, the Trump's policy was that America should be first. He wanted to make America the greatest one. So there was H1B visa issue which was there. So we are expecting that this will be, a bit lightened. Immigrants will be allowed, and if that happens, then Indians are going to be benefited from that a lot. Next is Quad movement. Now, Quad is a kind of informal grouping. Now, this is a kind of informal group which was formed by four countries, being Australia, India, Japan, and USA. And their main purpose was to, be a power against China in that area, so that China does not dominate the area as such. So this was the perspective, and Trump was very much obliged towards it. He had done various works, due to which even Germany was expected to join soon in. But as we can see that Joe Biden is not that involved on being against China and such issues. So we are expecting that the squad will comparatively go down, and that is not a good news for India if something like that happens. Then we had certain defense deals with United States of America, and though we are expecting that they won't be affected much, but relations with Russia, if they go down, then India is going to be affected on certain defense relations. Similarly, on oil relations, there might be certain changes, because if things go down with Russia, the Arab countries are going to be promoted, oil production might increase, which might lead to going down of oil prices, being good for India on a certain aspect, but not for Russia and relations of India and Russia as a whole. So there are certain relations, international relations, which India's also might be affected, and there are certain relations which might be improved in the coming time. That is the whole question on why this whole debate on Joe Biden as a president is coming up. So there are certain stands to be still cleared about, and we might learn a lot about it in a coming time. But as per what we have seen, as per the speeches, debates, and his perspectives, we have come to this part, right? So with this, I shall take a leave, and I hope this video has kind of cleared a lot of things for all of you. Thank you so much. Do share the video, like the video, and comment in the comment section. You can put up your doubts if you have any. Thank you so much, and have a great day ahead.